The other day, I was like, God, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Do you ever feel like that? That you just want to shut off?
You know what? I very rarely do that, but there was one day when I felt like he betrayed me about something very big, a very big deal in my life. And I didn't want to talk that day. I was like, I don't know how we're going to get through this, Lord. I don't know how I'm going to come out of this. I've been pinning so much of my life on a particular circumstance and it fell through. And that day I was like, no. If there was a person who was wired to love me, it'd be like, nice, you know. But if there was a person who was not and chose to love me, now
That is something.
really special.
Even if they can't find the right words to say or the right things to do, they're just
get
there.
you.
Even if they don't understand, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't even understand what you're doing. To be
Yes.
honest, I think it's stupid, but
Yeah.
I'm still gonna be there.
If there's anyone who's a betrayer, it's me, not him.
The other day, I was like, God, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, I just feel super sad. Like, I don't want to talk. And it feels very bad. Like, I don't want to say that. I know it's going to hurt your feelings and stuff. But I feel very exhausted. Like, I just don't want to talk to anyone. Can I be quiet? And then, like, God's like, I never asked you to talk.
That's a good one.
And I was like, but I want to talk.
Oh.
It's like, he plays this reverse psychology on you.
Yes.
And then, like, do you ever feel like that? That you just want to shut off, like, shut everything and, like, stay quiet.
You know what?
disappear.
I can do that easily with humans.
Yeah.
Very easily with humans. Like I just don't want to talk to anybody, just get lost. Growing up and most of my life, I've been quite alone, like apart from videos. Through videos, there's such a beautiful community and now we have a church and it's so beautiful. But most of my growing up years, I was quite alone. Even I remember my teacher once coming up to me, she's like, why are you sitting alone in the lunch break? What's wrong with you? I was like, I'm talking to, I didn't tell her, but I was actually talking.
Yeah.
I have found such a good friend in Jesus. And like you said, he doesn't force to talk. Sometimes we just sit together. Sometimes we're just looking at the sunset together. And I'm like, that's a nice one,
Thanks.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. So he knows when to rest in our relationship and he knows when to talk and he knows when to say, okay, now make a video, for instance, or tell someone about me. He knows all those dynamics perfectly to my system and to my body and mind and soul and everything. So I talk to him a lot. Like that's why I make skits on it and everything. Because that's one.
I
if
love them,
there's-
by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, it's just the best.
Some of
Thank
them.
you. No, I love all of them.
Yeah.
That's his doing.
Jesus.
Literally just copy pasted his words. So yeah, I very rarely do that, but there was one day when I felt like he betrayed me about something very big, a very big deal in my life, which you probably heard that story. And I didn't want to talk that day. I was like, I don't know how we're going to get through this, Lord. I don't know how I'm going to come out of this because I've been pinning so much of my life on a particular circumstance and it fell through. And that day I was like, no. And I was all crumpled up on the bed. And when I'm like that, my hand, I don't know, it goes somewhere and all like this. Okay, something and all happens. And he came so gently. I saw his hand. Like in my mind, there was this image. I don't know if it's a vision or what. I saw his hand come so gently without words. And he just gave my hand a little squeeze. He didn't say anything. And I realized that this hand has a hole in it. I'm like, oh, it's Jesus. And in that moment, I realized if there's anyone who's a betrayer, it's me, not him. Maybe I didn't understand something. I misunderstood something. I had a different understanding of God. It's whatever, it's my fault. But I've actually hurt him throughout my life. I still do, with or without realizing when I sin. And he took that. He died for me. He rose from the dead and he's still pursuing me. This nonsense girl, he's still pursuing. So the way he came to me that time and that moment, I was like, oh, I never want to be apart from you ever again. Like, we don't have to talk always. We can just sit, like you said, sit together. But I never want to. I always want to be in you, next to you, whatever it is. But you are trustworthy, and I am not. And I'm not. Realized I'm not a nice person to be with. So it's good that I have him. To be with him is really nice.
I think that's one of the qualities of a really, really good friend, you know?
Yeah.
When you're going through stuff, you, even if they can't find the right words to say or the right things to do, they're
They just
just
get
there.
you.
They're just there.
Yes.
You don't, they
Yes.
don't, even if they don't understand, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't even understand what you're doing. To be honest,
Yes.
it is, I think it's stupid, but I'm
Yeah.
still going to be there. And they
Exactly.
just, when we had iconic worship on the podcast, they were like, I brought up this conversation about like God being silent,
Mm.
like, you know, God being away, like how he like kind of went silent on Israel for a while, and then they groaned, like from Egypt, and then he heard him, and then he sent somebody to like get him out.
Mm.
Like that's he kind of does that too, you know, like he kind of like, okay, you want to do it, you're not gonna listen, go ahead, do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he's still gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
As the minute we turn back, okay, I'm done. This isn't
Yeah.
working. I know this is a bad idea. What do I do now? The minute we turn back and repent and like God, and he's like, okay, now it's let's get back on track.
That's right.
But he never like abandons you. He's just quiet. He's just waiting for you to oblige.
Yeah, but we can't take it for granted.
Yeah,
Because
that's
sometimes our time may be up.
yeah,
And it better not be up when we're not with him.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he keeps reminding me of that.
He kind of wiped out an entire generation in that 40 years that they were like in the wilderness. And
And people don't think that that applies in the new covenant with Jesus.
oh,
But read the Revelations.
yeah.
Jesus'
Yeah.
words.
Yeah. Like in one of the letters, like there's like letters to 7 churches in the
Yeah.
Revelation, and it says like if you don't like repent, I will come and remove your lampstand away from you and
That's
stuff.
the exact verse we talked about this. Yesterday we recorded
Yeah.
a service and we talked about that exact thing.
Yeah. So yeah, he's always there, but he's still waiting for you to oblige. The choice is yours. You either turn
Yeah.
back to him or like go do stupid stuff
It's
and
right.
get
It's
wrecked.
completely on us. He wants us. He loves us. He wants us to be with him. He said, I don't desire anybody to die
Yeah.
apart from me. So it's completely our choice whether we
It's
want
a
to say
choice.
yes
Yeah.
or we say no. Then God's like,
Yeah. Like it's a choice. Like you get to choose.
Yeah.
And that's what makes way for love. You know?
yes, yes.
If you don't get to choose, if you don't have a choice, and if he's the only option, like
Yeah.
you're gonna like that's
It's
the
not
only
love.
thing. Like, yeah. But if you have an option, you
Mm.
can either choose that or this, but you choose that because you like it. You love it.
Yes, yes.
That's I think God's big on choices.
Exactly.
He
Like
wants
I
you
try to imagine if there was a person who was wired to love me,
Mhm.
it'd be like nice, you know. But if there was a person who was not
Mhm.
and chose to love me, now
That is
that's
something.
really special.
Yeah.
So God helps me understand from his point of view. He like say, how would you feel with this? Like, okay, I understand now. That's special.